This week's episode sponsored for dailygiving.org. Great organization gives out tens of thousands of dollars a month on our behalf. How do we do it? You sign up and they give it $1 a day. It doesn't sound like a lot because it's not when it comes from you, but when you aggregate it and everyone does it together, it actually makes a huge difference. Check it out. I love it. Dailygiving.org, dailygiving.org. This week's Torah portion is one of the greatest moments, in my opinion, in world history, in Jewish history. It's the moment in which a king is made. There are moments in life where you're looking at greatness. Sometimes in sports, you see someone do something and you know that'll be immortal. Sometimes you watch somebody become something. Here, this week's Torah portion, a king is made. It's the Torah portion where Joseph holds Benjamin, pretends to have caught Benjamin with a goblet in his bag and threatens to keep him as a slave. And the brothers know that if Benjamin doesn't come back to Jacob, Jacob will literally die. And they try to fight to defend, and they're speechless when they realize that what are they going to do to the king of Egypt? And Judah steps forward and says, basically, give him back or I'm coming after you, which is shocking. And it's at that moment that Judah steps forward and takes responsibility for another, that he becomes king. Because in Judaism, leadership is not based on how much money you have, or how many people think that you're important, or how many fans you have, how big your home is, or how nice your business is. It doesn't even matter how much you know. Judaism is based on how much you're willing to sacrifice for another person. In Judaism, that's what leadership is. Leaders, Jewish leaders, are those that take responsibility for others. And the king takes responsibility for everybody. Judah becomes king when he steps forward and says, either you give me Benjamin or I'm willing to die for him. Where did he get it? Where did he get that strength? It's one of my favorite ideas that I've ever heard. It was heard in the name of the famous rabbi, the Sfas Emes. He says that if you look closely to the line that Judah says to Joseph, he says, and I'll say it in Hebrew and I'll translate, he says, Vayigash elav Yehuda, Yehuda comes forward, Vayomar, and he says, Bi Adoni. Now, the way you translate that is, excuse me, my master, but the way the Sfas Emes translated from what I heard is that he says, be inside me, Adoni is my master. What Judah tells Joseph is, I know I may look like I'm a regular guy, but let me give you a little bit of a secret, that what's inside me is not just body parts and blood and muscle. What's inside me is the energy of the creator of the world. Each and every one of us are born with the greatest gift we can ever get, is that me and you, if our eyes are open, have within us a piece of the creator. In Hebrew, it's called a chelek elokam mimal, a piece of God from above. That means our energy is sourced from God. God is not just up, he's in. Which means that we have powers we can't even imagine. Which means that when we face challenges, we don't even know how big we can be. And Judah, the king, faces a challenge of somebody else and says, I am willing to do whatever it takes. And I am telling you, Joseph, he didn't know it was Joseph, but I am telling you, king, when you push me far, you're going to see something you can't even imagine, because what I am made of is a piece of God. In fact, if you look at Judah's name, in Hebrew, it's spelled Yud Hey, Vav Daled Hey. And in those letters is Yud K, Vav K, the name of God. It's in him. And we are called Yehudim, which are Jews, because it's in all of us. We're a nation of kings. We just need to realize it. We just need to appreciate it. We just need to realize that we have to sacrifice ourselves for each other. We just need to realize that when we stare challenges down, the challenge has no idea what it's messing with. And if we live our lives recognizing that our leadership is based on our sacrifice for each other and our power comes from God, there is little that we can't do. That's what it means to be a king. That's what it means to be a prince and a princess, to realize who we are and to make sure we use that power for each other.